Have you ever heard of the powerful queens of Africa? Not the ones from ancient Egypt, but from the heart of the continent, ruling vast and complex kingdoms. Let's journey back to the 17th century, to the mighty Kingdom of Kongo. Let's dive into the incredible story of an amazing leader you probably haven't heard of. A remarkable leader. Meet Queen Kangu. The Kingdom of Kongo, located in what is now multiple nations. Modern-day Angola, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and Gabon. This kingdom was one of Africa's most influential states. By the 17th century, however, this once unified kingdom was fracturing. Decades of civil war, fueled by internal power struggles and the devastating impact of the transatlantic slave trade, had torn the nation apart. Rival royal houses, the Kimpanzu and the Kinlaza, battled for control of the throne, leaving the land and its people in a state of constant turmoil. Into this chaotic landscape and time, Queen Kangu emerged. She was a formidable figure, a member of the Kimpanzu clan, one of the main contenders for the Congo crown. Kangu was more than just a royal contender. She was something special. She was a visionary. She saw the destruction the civil wars were causing, and understood that the constant infighting was only making the kingdom weaker and more vulnerable to outside exploitation, particularly by the Portuguese who were heavily involved in trade in the region. Queen Kangu's ambition was not just to rule, but to restore and rebuild. Her primary goal was to reunite the fractured Kingdom of Kongo under a single and stable authority. She knew that a divided Congo could never be strong or survive. Her strategy was bold and multifaceted. First, she established her own power base. She wasn't content to wait for others to hand her power. She built it herself. She gathered loyal followers, trained a dedicated army, and secured control over a significant and expansive territory. This wasn't just a grab for power. It was a necessary step to create a sanctuary of stability in a war-torn land. Her domain became a safe haven and a place of refuge for those fleeing the conflict, and her reputation as a capable and just leader began to grow. One of Queen Kangu's biggest wins was her bold move to take back and breathe new life into the ancient capital of São Salvador. It was a game-changer. For years, the once great city was in ruins, showing just how far Kongo had fallen. Many leaders tried to take it back but failed. But Queen Kangu, with her strategic mind and determined forces, successfully led an expedition to reclaim the city. This was a hugely symbolic act. It was a declaration to all of Congo that the old kingdom was not dead, and that a new era of unity was possible. Holding the capital, even for a time, was a powerful statement of Queen Kangu's legitimacy and vision for a restored nation. Queen Kangu was also a master of diplomacy. She understood that military might alone wouldn't solve Congo's problems. The kingdom was a complex web of alliances and rivalries. She engaged in shrewd negotiations with other local leaders and even with European powers. She sought to build a coalition of support for her cause, often using strategic marriages to forge alliances between warring factions. For example, she arranged a marriage between her son and a princess from the rival Kinlaza house. This wasn't just a personal matter. It was a political masterstroke aimed at healing the deepest division within the kingdom. She was trying to weave the fabric of the nation back together, thread by thread. Her influence was far-reaching, extending beyond the political and military spheres. As a woman in a position of supreme authority, she challenged the gender norms of her time, both within Congo society and in the eyes of the Europeans who dealt with her. In a world dominated by kings and male warriors and leaders, Queen Kangu proved that leadership, wisdom, and strength were not exclusive to men. She was an Nganga, a strong spiritual leader, wielding not just political but also spiritual authority over her people. This combination made her an incredibly powerful and respected figure. Her followers saw her as a divinely sanctioned ruler, chosen to heal the land. However, Queen Kangu's path was not easy. She faced constant opposition. Others eyeing the throne viewed her as a real threat. The Portuguese, who profited from the chaos and the slave trade, were wary of a strong, unified Congo, and often worked to undermine leaders like her. Her control over São Salvador was contested, and she was eventually forced to retreat. The dream of a unified kingdom under her rule was always close but never quite there. So why is her story so important anyway? Queen Kangu represents the incredible resilience and agency of African leaders during a period of intense crisis. She wasn't a passive victim of colonial pressures or internal strife. She was an active strategic player who fought tirelessly for the survival and restoration of her people. Her efforts to end the civil wars and create a stable state were a direct challenge to the forces that sought to tear Africa apart. Her legacy is a testament to the fact that African history is filled with powerful women who shaped the destinies of their nations. Figures like Queen Kangu, and her more famous contemporary Queen Zinga of Ndongo and Matamba, show us that the narrative of African history is incomplete without recognizing the pivotal role of its queens. They were diplomats, warriors, and visionaries who navigated treacherous political waters with skill and courage. Even though she didn't achieve her ultimate goal of a permanently reunified Congo, her impact was profound. She laid the groundwork for future reunification efforts and kept the idea of a united Congo alive during its darkest hour. She proved that even in the face of overwhelming odds, a determined leader can inspire hope and rally a people toward a common cause. Her struggle for peace and unity in the 17th century echoes beyond her time, and reminds us of the enduring quest for sovereignty and self-determination. The story of Queen Kangu is important and a crucial piece of the puzzle of African and world history. It challenges us to look beyond the familiar narratives and discover the hidden figures who shaped our world. She was a queen, a warrior, a diplomat, a mother, and a unifier. Her name, Kangu, deserves to be remembered not as a footnote, but as a symbol of strength, strategy, and the undying spirit of a nation. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the history of the Kingdom of Kongo. If you found this story as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the forgotten corners of history. And let me know in the comments which historical figures you'd like to learn about next. Until next time, keep exploring.